Hey guys, welcome to Free Tutorial TV and Python tutorial for beginner. In the last video we have seen how to use threading module to create trends in Python. Now in this video also we are going to see how to create threads using threading module, but we are going to see in this video how to subclass from the thread class which is available inside the threading module, and then create threads out of that class instance. So to start with, I have the same method which is print epoch, which I want to call inside the thread. So now here after this method what I want to do is I want to create a class. So I'm going to create a class, and the name of the class I'm going to give the name as my threads, for example. And the one thing we need to do here is we need to subclass from that threads class from the threading module. So we are going to just call first of all threading.thread. So we are subclasses from that threads class. Now inside this my class most of all we are going to define init method. So let's define this init method. And in this method we are going to pass two arguments same as this print epoch function. So first the argument will be the name of the thread, and the second argument will be that delay. So let's provide these two arguments. First is the name and second is the delay. Now after this inside this init method we need to call the parents init method which is threading.thread.init. So we are going to just call threading.thread._a_score in their method, which is going to call the parent init method which is threading right. Now once you have done that we can just simply define some local member variable for the name. So first of all self.name is equal to name and self.delay is equal to delay. So now once we have our member variables, what we need to do next is we need to override our method called a run, which is available inside the thread class in the threading module. So I'm going to just define the run method and we are going to override this. So first of all, what does this run method do? So then run method is the entry point for the thread. In the previous video, if you remember, we have called the start method on that threading class, right? So the start method starts that threads by calling this run method. So under the hood the start method calls this run method. So if we override this run method, that means when we call the start method from the thread class, this run method is going to be called. So now we can do some logging here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print first of all start threads, and then I'm going to print and thread. Now between the start thread and threads logging, I'm going to call the print epoch function, and this print epoch function is going to take two arguments, which is name. So I'm going to just pass the self.name which we have assigned to the member variable, and second is the self.delete. So once again when we call the start method on the instance of this my thread class, this run method is going to be called by the start method automatically because we are subclasses from that threading.threads class. Now once we have our running the method and we have created init method, we can create some instances of my class. So I'm going to create some instances. For example, t1 is equal to my thread, and then we are going to pass those two arguments. First is the name. So let's say the name is threads1, and that delay we want to provide here is, let's say, 1 second, because this delay is going to go to print epoch method which is this one, right? Once again we are going to create the second instance, let's say t2, and once again we are going to call the my thread class which we have subclass from the thread class, and once again we are going to give these two arguments. First is the thread. So this time I'm going to name it as threads2, and that delay I'm going to give here is 2 seconds. Let's see. And now after the instance is created we can call the start method and the join method on these two instances. So let me just call t1.start, and then we are going to call that t2.start. And once we have the start which is going to start the threads, we are going to just call that join method. And by now you already know what this join method do, which is to wait for the thread to be completed. So I'm going to just call the join method on t2 also, and let's run the script and let's see what happens. I'm going to run the script and you can see first of all start thread has been called off, which is from the logging of this print method, and then the third one is printed and the epoch time is printed, and then threads 2 is printed and the epoch times printed because we have given the 1 second delay for the thread 1. So try the one that will be iterated faster than thread 2 because we have provided the delay of 2 seconds for threads 2. Add 1 second for try to 1. As soon as the thread ends, we can see this print statement which is end thread, and after the end of the threads 2 begin, see this print statement which is end threads 2. We can also print here, so let's print some more things here. So we can print the name of the thread. I'm going to just write self dot the name, and we are going to do the same for that end thread also. So I'm going to just print here also self dot name, so we will know which thread is starting and which thread is ending. Once again I'm going to run the program, and now you can see start trying to thread 1. So threads 1 is started and then threads 2 is started, and you can see first of all threads 1 is ended and at last threads 2 is ended. So this is how you can subclass from the thread class which is available inside the threading module. Now inside this threading module there are some special methods which we are going to see now. So the first method is, so let me just go after this start of the threads. So here what I'm going to do is, first of all I'm going to use the print function, and inside this print function I'm going to call the threading module, and there are some special methods. For example, first of all we are going to see what is the active count of threads. So what are the number of threads which are there inside this program? This are going to print the number of threads. Now the second method which I am going to show you is the threading. First of all let me just call the threading dot. We are going to call the current thread. So this is going to print the current thread which is active right now. And third much here which I want to show here is threading dot enumerate, and this enumerate method is going to enumerate the number of threads which are active. So let's run this program once again and let's see what happens. So I'm going to just run this program. And first of all you will see 3 is printed using this print statement which is threading.active count. So active count is going to give you the number of threads, and you already know that we have created 2 threads and 1 main thread is already available. So total number of threads are 3 here. We just printed now the current thread here. This print statement prints this output which is that main thread. So right now at the time of this print statement main thread is active. Now this enumerate method, as I said, is going to enumerate or will all the threads which are available. So main thread is available, and then we have created thread 1 which is this one. This is the name of the thread 1. And then when I scroll here you can see threads 2 is available. So total 3 threads are available. Main thread, thread 1 and threads 2. So these methods you can use to just find out how many threads are there. What is the current thread? Dot. And you can also enumerate over all the threads. There is one more method. So I'm going to call this method here, and I'm going to print it inside the print function, and this time I'm going to use the instances t1 dot, and that is a method of label here which is get name which comes from that thread class. And because we are subclasses from the thread class, this name is available inside the my thread class also. And same we are going to do here also. So print and then threads2 dot name. So this is going to give you the name of the thread by default. So I'm going to just run this script once again, and you can see this is going to print threads 1 and this is going to print thread 2. Now you might wonder why this name is thread 1 and threads 2. Because this getName method is going to give the value of self.name which we have assigned using this name argument. So this name is overwritten in the subclass which is my thread class. And that's why it's giving us thread 1 and 2 name which we have provided. If we change this name, let's say T1 and T2, and once again we run the code, you can see the name also changes to T1 and T2. So this is how you can subclass from the tragic class which is available inside the threading module. And we have also seen some of the method which are available inside the threading module which are useful to us. I hope you have learned something new this time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like the video. share the video, and subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. See you in next video.